Everything's going according to plan. We are live. Welcome in. I'm Johnny. That's the Greg. This is our podcast. Wow, you guys like, subscribe, or share. Greg's going to tell you about our partner.
Our wonderful opportunity we have for you with Audible. Audible offers thousands upon thousands of audiobooks for you to enjoy. Everything from your favorite titles to some more obscure stuff. And actually, if you have a subscription, you get a lot of free stuff, free podcasts, full-on books that they just release for you. So if you want a 30-day free trial on us, you can go to audibletrial.com/JATG. You sign up, like I said, you get all your favorite titles. You get, and you can, here's one other thing. I don't mention this enough. Whatever you buy, you keep. It doesn't matter if you do the trial, you do your 30 days and you're like, I'm going to take a pause. It's not for me, whatever you have purchased on Audible, it's yours. It never goes away. So if you want to pause your subscription, stop your subscription, those books that you've purchased are still yours to listen to and enjoy forever. They are yours. So if you want to give that a shot, you can go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
Thank you very much, Greg. Wow. Okay. It's been an interesting weekend when we're with football. Yeah, we're going to go into some things here. If anybody just got done watching the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs, I think we just watched this year's Super Bowl. I think everything else is just, it doesn't matter after that game. I don't know how the Super Bowl is even going to remotely top that game. I don't think it's going to happen. And if you guys need to take a drink to calm down your nerves, I understand. That was an intense game. And I don't know what more to say about that one. Today, Tom Brady, he almost did it again. I thought this guy was going to pull this out at the last second. He did his job. The defense didn't do theirs, but congrats to the Rams and the 49ers. They are in the NFC Championship game, as well as the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah,
taking down the Titans. I was shocked.
That's the team. That's the team I'm rooting for the rest of the way. I am going hard and heavy for the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll see. I really like that quarterback. If the 49ers, I don't think the 49ers have a shot against the Rams. I really don't. I think it's going to be the Rams, and I think it's going to be the Rams in Kansas City in the Super Bowl. That's what I think.
All right. My condolences go out to cousin Carla, who is newly signed on to the show. So sad for her Bills. Sorry, Carla. But hey, just so everybody knows, it is now Bucks season. Yes, that's right. We are celebrating the Milwaukee Bucks from here on out. Yeah, and that's what we're going to do.
Pretty premature for a lot of you Packer fans.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't. Hey, we're going to get to that, but I want to break down what we're going to talk about, and then we'll get back to that. So we're reviewing the NFL playoffs. We're going to have a deep discussion about Mr. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, boy.
We're going to go into a question I found very interesting. I was listening to the radio about date night with married couples.
Okay.
Then we're going to talk a small amount about Meatloaf and Louie Anderson, how they passed away this past week. And then we're going to do a new segment called Social Media Roundup, where the Greg, because he's on Twitter way more than I am, and he seems to be plugged in a lot better than I am, probably because he has to be.
Teenagers.
He's got teenagers. So we're going to see what goes there. But let's go back all the way to Saturday night. And I'm sorry, you Packer fans, you're going to have to live with it.
We got no other choice.
Yeah. 13-10. The guy didn't do it again. He didn't do it again.
Yeah. And I looking at social media today was very interesting. And not just social media, but I was also checking out news sites. I was looking at ESPN, NBC Sports. I mean, all the major sports angles I was taking a look at. And it would be, I mean, a lot of people are like, well, Chokemaster General does it again. I mean, because no touchdowns. Just really didn't show that Rodgers finesse that he has.
I have a theory about that, and I'll give
that. Okay, but a lot of people are like, well, the special teams lost us the game,
which is hilarious because you said that about.
I did.
8 weeks into the season, you kept saying, I don't know about these special teams, man. I don't know
Yeah.
about this.
Well, I just, whatever, great disturbance in the force, whatever. I mean, it was obvious that special teams were an issue for really the entire season. I mean, and I'm not just talking about field goals. I mean, our kickoff and kick return teams, we hardly got any yards on a kick return, and we gave up a ton of yards on a kickoff. I mean, last night alone in the fourth quarter, they gave up a 45-yard kick return.
Yeah.
Which set up that field goal. So, so a lot of things. I mean, it was a culmination of things last night with the blocked punt, the missed kick. I mean, all this stuff, or not the missed kick. I'm sorry, the block kick, the block punt. And then to top it all off, after the fact, when we were already soaking our sorrows in shots, right after the game, I hopped on social media hopped on the internet. I'm like, okay, what's the buzz? 10 men on the field for that field goal from the 49ers. Did you see that?
No. What do you mean 10 men?
The Packers only had 10 men on the field.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
For the very last play of the game.
I did see that. Yeah.
And kind of kudos to Coach Kyle for Matt LaFleur. I'm sorry. To Matt LaFleur for, he's like, that's on me, man. That's my fault. I should have never let that happen. I don't blame him, but I wouldn't be surprised if the special teams coach is gone. Like,
I agree with that.
Because
somebody has to fall.
What the hell? Yeah,
someone's
got to take the blame for that. And I don't think it's Rodgers. It's not Rodgers for the special teams performance. But I don't think it's Matt LaFleur either, because I mean, yes, it's his team. And he's doing the head coach thing of like, this all falls on me. Aaron Rodgers in his interviews today was kind of like, I didn't perform that well, so it was nice to see him taking some responsibility at this point. But holy shit. I mean, the special teams, man. I mean,
with the special teams, I think it was a problem. You admitted it was a problem. I don't watch Packer games outside of when they play the Bears or if it's a playoff game. So I'm not that dialed in, but
it was a problem.
Yeah. And you pointed that out to me, and it definitely showed its ugly head. And the problem with not addressing it was because you guys were winning, and winning is the ultimate deodorant. It covers up scars. The things that smell, it covers it all up. And in these playoff games where, more people will lose it than they will win it. That's what happened. I think it is Aaron's fault. I think it's definitely Aaron's fault.
And I think there is a certainly valid argument for that. I mean,
I think it's
when you watch the game,
so
he wasn't leading. He wasn't doing what he needed to do.
Right. Here's one thing that I have a theory about this, and I don't know if this is true, but to the common man, what I'm going to say is, let's say you're just out there, you and I, we're drinking some beers while you're cooking your meats, and we are playing basketball.
Yeah.
And we take free throws, and I take a free throw shot. There's no pressure there. It's nothing, because we're not thinking anything outside of just, but if you all of a sudden tell me, hey man, you got to make the next one. Basically, if you say, hey man, if you miss the next one, you owe me $1,000. If you make it, I owe you $1,000. Now we got pressure.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot more into it, and it gets tight. Quote me if I'm wrong, Packer fans. I don't have a great memory with this, but I don't believe the mighty Aaron Rodgers has ever come back in a playoff game.
No. I don't he's ever come
believe he's all any game he's ever won, it's always because he was in the lead. I don't remember when it really counted, when he really needed to drive his team down. He did it in a playoff game. I know he's had plenty of crazy comebacks in the regular season. I always think what I'm trying to say is, my theory is that's a little more relaxed because there's always next week. You know what I mean? And so I think he's one of these people, and he's not alone in this. That's what makes Tom Brady and these clutch performers special, is that they don't it doesn't affect them the way that it affects other people in terms of that. I think he's going to get a lot of flack, and I think he deserves it. He decided to open up and be honest, which I'm not going to fault the man for being honest. It's what we always ask our players to do, and then when they do it, we shit on them, which I think is wrong. But he put a huge target on his back, acting like a diva all year long.
Yep.
And karma's a bitch.
Yep.
But I want everybody to listen to me, and I want you to understand this. He's not the GOAT. He's not he's a great quarterback, but this man is no longer, he never should have, in my opinion, no longer in the GOAT discussion. I'm sorry. It's over. It's not going to happen.
The idea that people have behind that. Now, is he the greatest quarterback that Green Bay has ever had?
I will say no.
I think I'm with you on that. Is he a great quarterback? Yes, he is. But in clutch performances, and we've seen this, because it's not like we're not making the playoffs on a regular basis.
Correct.
He absolutely chokes in the playoffs, and he cannot come from behind. Like if he gets down and see, and the people that are could come on and be like, but you were never behind that entire game. You're correct. We were not behind in scoring that entire game, but we could not move the ball. Like it was 9 possessions that resulted in 3 and outs. 9 possessions in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't win football games like that at any level.
Nope.
I mean, you need to,
you really can't.
We couldn't convert. We couldn't. Now, all due respect to the 49ers defense, because they did a great job. And I was reading up on why was Aaron not performing so well?
Right.
And it was a little less than like his, how do I say this? He got outplayed. He got the defensive coordinators of the 49ers brought a completely different look than they did during the regular season.
Okay.
And they said, Aaron just didn't know what to do. Like they had everybody covered so well, and then
which happens.
Time I'll speak it. Yeah, he got out coached. I mean, they're saying that the San Francisco coaches did a great job looking like, okay, this is what Aaron defends, or this is what defenses work against Aaron. These are the ones that don't. Here's why they work. When he does this, we need to do this. And they just they got in his head, and figured him out and decoded how he runs things. And said, even if he calls an audible, we need to do this. And that's what they did. His A and B receivers were never open. Ever.
Well, yes. But let's not forget that Shanahan, like LaFleur, worked under Shanahan.
Yeah.
He basically created that offense from Shanahan. So Shanahan knows what you're going to run. He knows what your strengths are. But here's the thing that at the end of the day, the Niners are one of those teams that for some reason they own Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, everybody is owned by somebody. You own the Bears, the Niners own you. It's just how it is. It's how it is wherever you go. So I just think it's something I always said about him, that I didn't feel like he was a good leader. And I'm interested to see if he's going to be blaming anybody. Because
he had a very humble press conference post game, because right away they're like, dude, what's going on? Like, what do you? He's like, everything's very early right now. He was just super, super disappointed. He didn't expect to be
right.
He expected to be at least in the championship game, if not the Super Bowl. And he's like, nope.
Yeah.
Or he's like, this is really raw right now. I don't know how to respond. It's like, okay, that's the right answer.
So here's my last thing on Aaron Rodgers. You guys, and look, I understand it. If I was a Green Bay Packer fan, I would be standing up for my team, and I would be standing up for a quarterback that I've watched for the last 17 years bust his ass and try to win you guys championships. There's no shame in that. It's the only time it gets underneath my skin is when, not you, Greg, you've never done it, but when you Packer fans out there, or you Aaron Rodgers fans out there, tell me he's the GOAT. That upsets me, because it's not that I'm a Brady fan. I just feel like you have to earn it more than one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to talk about a GOAT, we got to be picky. Now, other than his touchdown to interception ratio, which is fantastic, what else has he done that nobody else has done?
I would say some of the passes he completes that he just hits a mark are pretty amazing, and more often than other quarterbacks I've seen.
Don't think you've watched enough of Patrick Mahomes.
Well, but now I am. I mean, I'm watching other quarterbacks and things like that, but I still know that over his career, he hits those, just those amazing receptions. You're like, how did he sneak that in there? And I think other quarterbacks are getting, and other quarterbacks have done it in the past. I'm not saying that, but he does it a lot. He does it. So I think that's good.
Yeah. But I'll give you one other thing too.
He's not a great running quarterback. He's not a great, he's a smart quarterback, but there are a lot of smart guys out there as well. So yeah. So the only other thing I'll give you too is he's really good in practice throwing a ball 50 yards into a bucket. Congrats. Awesome. Okay. Good job. Sorry, a little bit of Aaron Rodgers, I told you so is coming out, and not to you, Greg, and not to you, because you've never been a, what I like to call, you never rub me for any sports stuff. And if you do, I don't know, it's not, we don't take each other seriously with sports teams. Like we don't go at each other and we don't get mad. We're just like, yeah, shit, you got me good, but for all you people out there who sneak your little messages to me, stuff like that, you know who you guys are. You know who you are. Your guy is no longer even in the discussion. He's not. He never, in my opinion, he never was. And now you guys see it. That's enough of that. We're going to move on. Unless you got anything else to say. Not really. I mean, the only thing that you and I think would go like get angry about with each other and go to toe to toe is if we started attacking somebody's character, like a sports person's character, as in like if I'm trying to even think how this would go, like William Payton,
Walter Payton.
Yeah, so much to know. The guy's got an award named after him for his humanitarian efforts, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And if someone were to be like, oh, that guy was a dick, then I think you would be, what?
No, actually, what? I've heard rumors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think everybody's. I think if I told you, look, man, JJ Watt's a piece of shit, you'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, come on.
And I would agree with you. Yeah. Let me rephrase this. I don't think JJ Watt's a piece of shit. I think he's one of those actually good, genuine people.
Good guys who's making good money.
I always root for people like that.
So, yeah.
I just, I don't. Yeah, I've learned as I've gotten older that nobody's perfect, and what you see isn't always what you get when those cameras are turned off. I'll just say that, So, Greg, let me ask you a question. We're going to transition now. Let me ask you a question. Okay. You've been a parent for how long?
17 years.
You've been married for how long?
22 years.
Okay. For you and anybody else listening, I want you to answer in your head or type or respond to us. How many date nights in a month do you feel is how many date nights do you feel in a month keeps a marriage going?
Okay. Well,
hang on. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase it this. How many date nights do you need for a successful marriage? And let's break it down into a month.
Okay. My initial thoughts,
yes,
are that you don't need any date nights for a successful marriage. Like you can have a good marriage, because if you're in a season of life where you just don't get those.
A seasonal life?
Yeah, if you're in a season of life, like you're in just that section of like where the kids and you don't have sitters or whatever it is.
Okay.
That you guys can't get out.
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about, like getting out kind of date night.
Well,
I mean,
I guess that was my next question was, what do we call a date night? What is that?
yeah, I mean, there's a different definition of that. I mean, because there were times when my wife and I could not get away,
Right.
and we're still together.
Right.
So I know when I've read marriage books, couple books, development books, stuff like that, they're going to tell you, like twice a month for sure, that you guys should get out and have just be,
Be Greg and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
be,
yeah, be husband and wife.
Yes.
Don't be parents. Don't be
Right.
anything else.
Right. Don't be mom and dad.
Don't be mom and dad. Don't be
Right.
employees. Don't be anything. Just
Right.
like get out and just enjoy each other.
Right.
And I mean, there was a while where we were doing, I think it was like a Tuesday night. Tuesday night we would get away, and it was just the two of us. And for a while, it started off like we had a standing thing that we would go and do. But when that fell away, it was our night. And it was, you're doing chores, man. You're going to the grocery store and stuff like that. But like we'd go to dinner somewhere before we go to the grocery store. And
so
now,
your date night became moments.
Yeah. I mean, you got to kind of back that up. Now we are getting a little bit of feedback on here, which thank you guys for the feedback. Cousin Clay said his wife said one night a week.
One night a week. Okay.
Or I'm sorry, one a month, I think is what he was getting at.
One time a month. So that's when you now ask Cousin Clay, is that when you leave the house? Are we talking about?
Thanks.
Okay. I think so too. I think when people think date night, they think going out to dinner, movie.
Yeah, I mean dinner, movie, like a thing. And that's Marshall's on here too. He says 0. My wife and I run errands without kids coming along. It's just as fun. And that's true. I mean, you got to take that where you can get it. Cousin Carla says date nights are what you make them. You can be at home with each other alone or go out. And I think that's true too. Those stay-in dates where it's like, let's just put the kids to bed and we're going to hang out. It's more about the time and that your attention isn't on like house stuff, or it isn't on like, we're going to turn on a movie and we're both going to fall asleep on the couch. It's more than that.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. The quality time. It's
creating intimacy.
Yeah. Creating intimacy and quality time.
Right.
We've had dates that were terrible, like god awful. Like we ended up fighting the whole time or whatever it is, dinner sucked. The movie was terrible. And then we get in a fight, not necessarily over those, but it was a bad date. Right.
Yeah.
And then we've had nights where we're just sitting on the couch and maybe there's a show or a movie on, but we're just talking through the whole thing about whatever. And it's been phenomenal. So
yeah, those are my favorite nights, actually.
Yeah.
I think somewhere along the line, that's where Netflix and chill became a thing. Like, because we have shows that we don't really need to pay attention to. We can like look over real quick. And if we miss it, we don't really care. We have little shows like that because we're still dealing with a 3-year-old who wants your attention. And, so yeah, there are days like we're not even watching those shows. We're more or less talking to each other, and we're, those are great times. I really appreciate those. But for date night for you, you said basically like, did you come up with a number now or have you?
Well, I think twice a month would be ideal.
Okay.
But I know like I would say we go out on almost like double dates more often than it's just the two of us. We've got our group of friends up here that we were hanging out with just last night. We watched the game. A buddy of mine just completely remodeled his living room, so it's perfect for watching sports, watching movies, just entertaining in general.
Okay.
He's got a real nice space for it now. And his kids are significantly younger than mine. Like they need babysitters. They can't just, pick up and go. Cause their youngest is 3. So we go over there. Like Chris and I get away because my kids are like old enough that we say, we're leaving. Don't burn the house down. See you later. And we get up and go, and we were out there until like 1:00 last night. Cause after the game, we stuck around, had some drinks, but plenty of food left. So, and that's fun. I mean, it's fun for us to be able to interact like that. That being said, it's kind of shameful, but I can't remember the last time that she and I just did a
date night.
Yeah, just like a you and me, we got to get out date night.
Okay. So I got this from the Knot. Okay. It says Harry Benson from the Marriage Foundation of Steve McKay from the University of Lincoln studied a group of almost 10,000 couples with a young child to find out what date night habits the most successful couples had in common. Here's how the frequency of date nights broke down. Once a week or more was 11%. Once a month was 30%. Less often than once a month was 23%. Hardly ever was 36%. Now, are you saying over your 17 years of being a parent, would you say you fall into the 36% of hardly ever?
Yeah, and I think it depends on how we define the date.
Yeah.
If it's just the two of us, I would say probably.
Okay.
But if it's going to events, if it's going to like leaving the kids at home,
yeah,
and going somewhere, I think we fall into the once a month category.
And I understand that fluctuates and that's different depending on what age the kids are and how many kids and things like that. I would say right now where Ursula and I are is we're about less often than once a month. So we're about 23 percentile. But the study finds that the groups were monitored over the next 10 years, and turns out the couples who had date night once a month had the highest odds of staying together compared with the other groups. This was only true for married couples, not couples who simply lived together.
Okay, hold on. Does that mean that if the couples that went out more than once a month, they still had a lower chance of being together than the people that went out once a month? Does that go into that?
Yeah, but I didn't want to.
Okay.
It's.
But you know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, is it the more you go out, the higher you are staying together, or is it just that once a month? It's like this is the group that really made it.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Well, what originally happened was we were talking about this as we were driving to Disney on Ice this weekend. We were talking about it.
Great car conversation when you're on your way to see.
Sometimes we have some of the best car conversations.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But I just think it's like, hey, we're going to go see Beauty and the Beast in the land, skate around and like in the Disney ice capades.
Which, by the way,
what are you thinking about?
Yeah. Anyway, I'll go into Disney on Ice.
Yeah.
In a minute
let's do that in a second.
But I thought that was, she said that it was like once a month. Or no, it was once a week. One other study said that she was listening to, it said once a week, those couples stay together the longest. And I said, okay, does that mean, is that couples that have kids? Like are those married people that have kids? And it didn't specify.
Okay.
So I looked up, okay, what's the most successful marriage with kids? Like what's that?
Yeah.
So that's where I came up with the Knot. I found the Knot for that. But I thought it was interesting because we also broke down, like, what do you consider a date night? And what Ursula and I considered was it was making time for each other. So whatever that was, in some way we were making time for each other and we genuinely wanted to make time for each other during that moment. So that's what we kind of came up with. For those out there, if you want to add something, please keep adding something. If you guys think we missed something, let us know. Again, that's the Knot. If any of you want to follow that, it's something online. I think Greg said, oh, yeah, he knew what it was. So it sounds like he's.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Knot's big marriage thing.
So, yeah. You want to talk about Disney on Ice real quick? I can give you, we can do a sidetrack. Not a lot of people want to see that, but you know me, in the middle of playoff football, I had to go watch a Whole New World and Under the Sea,
the Capade,
and Moana. And I will tell you flat out, I talked to you about it before I talked to you on the phone yesterday before I went there, saying that I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to be mad that I'm missing the game. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be in the moment, because I don't get these moments back with my family. And I actually had a blast. It was a really good time. I enjoy all the Disney stuff, so I was into it. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, yeah, if I was there, I would be like, because they're athletes, they're
Actually, yeah.
figure
And
skaters. That
they did a
the
great job.
the people in those shows are actually Olympic level figure skaters that either aged out of the Olympics or
or didn't make it, missed the
weren't
cut.
gold, weren't one of the top three and said, well, I'm still my nation's best, and Disney wants to pay me to look like Cinderella while I do a triple axel. Okay.
Yeah. The athleticism was fantastic.
Mhm.
I was very into that. And dude, when you see your little girl for the first time get actually genuinely excited, and the whole time she's doing this, like she's just amazed by all of it. And that was worth every missed football snap of the
So
weekend.
this brings up a pretty good point, because I was talking about this with some friends last night after our loss, after the Packers loss. What age do you think you're gonna pack up and do the Disney World experience with
5 or 6?
5 or 6? Okay.
What are you thinking?
Well, yeah, that's, I would say, like my we went to Disney when my youngest was 7.
Okay.
And that was a good age. Now, we were just talking about it tonight. She's like, I don't really remember a lot of like specific things. She's like, I remember going on Space Mountain, and I remember when I brought up the Seven Dwarfs Mine Tree. She's like, oh yeah, no, that was fun.
Yeah.
I said, but do you remember like being happy about it? She's like, oh yeah, I remember like the magic. She was so nervous. She kind of puked a little in the hotel room before we left, because
she was so excited.
She was just like, and I said, are you okay? And she went, and like a little bit came out, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So but that was, so she remembers it. For me, it was always the thing of like, don't take your, I mean, Disney is expensive. I don't care. I know it's all a matter of scale. And if you're somebody that's making $450,000 a year, it might not be such an expense for you, but for us, there was an expense involved. And so like, I want to go, and I always said, I want to go when my kids can actually enjoy it and remember it. And I don't want to go when you're restricted by height requirements on everything. Like, let's go when our kids can get on every ride, like regardless of whether they want to or not. I mean, not saying we're going to force kids on a ride, but I don't want to get up to like Space Mountain and find out, oh, we can't ride this one. And then we got to figure that whole thing out.
Yeah.
So like, that's the age that I suggest. And then you need to figure out, and I've got a good friend who used to work at Disney, and he would be my go-to for any family that's thinking of going. I'd be like, you need to talk to my buddy Mark, and he will tell you how to do Disney, because he goes once a year still. He's the crazy, I don't know if I consider him a senior citizen yet, but he's getting up there. He's getting close. That you would say him and his wife are approaching the senior citizens that go to Disney once a year just because they love it and they are Disney heads. And
there you go.
You know what? Yeah, that's totally fine. But he knows, because he's taken his grandkids a bunch too, like how to do Disney with a toddler. How do you do Disney with like an early early?
Oh, okay. So maybe I should talk to him.
Like he's the guy that you pick his brain. Because the worst thing, I was there the first time I went to Disney, I was there for a conference.
Okay.
It was a trainers conference that we stayed at the Coronado, which is the big conference center. But while we were there, we got a free with our purchase of going to the conference, which was this week-long thing.
Yeah.
It was like an after 3 p.m. ticket. So like the conference had closed for that day, and they're like, here's a little bonus for coming. You get to go to you pick one Disney park. You can go to any of the parks. And I had never been. And so I had befriended some people, and I had a coworker with me like, well, let's go to the Magic Kingdom. So we go, and it's at the fireworks show, right? The fireworks show, they project things, scenery onto Cinderella's castle. And first off, like I'd always deemed myself much more of a Warner Brothers guy than a Disney guy. We took the ferry over to the entrance of the park, and you come around this corner and you see Cinderella's castle. I got fucking giddy. I like the child in me just went, oh, we're here. Oh my gosh. And I mean, it happens. I mean, the magic hits you, and it's not a joke. I mean, the magic literally hits you and you're like,
I'm sure. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know what's happening to me right now. I didn't expect this at all.
Yeah.
And so, but we're at the fireworks show. We're watching the projection on the screen. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm totally missing my family at this point, like wishing they were there with me.
Of course.
And behind me is another family, and we're all gathered pretty tight pre-COVID. We're all gathered very tight into the courtyard. And this granddad, his grandson, who I'm gonna place somewhere between between like 4 and 6, is passed out in a wagon, like that they brought in. Like the kid is just unconscious, asleep, because the fireworks show is like 10:30 at night, and the kid's asleep because his bedtime is usually probably 7:30 or something like that. And his dad's like, you got to wake him up. You got to wake him up. This is his one time to see it. And I'm like, dude, if you go to Disney with a child of that age and you're like, this is their one time, we got to fit in everything.
Yeah.
And you don't go in with some kind of plan. And that's what Mark is like. You got to do it. Like if you have a young child, you got to fit in a nap. You got to go back to your hotel or somewhere where this kid can sleep for a couple hours if you expect him to stay up to when the park closes.
Right.
And so I was noticing, and there were a lot of kids like totally asleep and parents were just watching. I'm just like, when I was there, I'm like, this is not the time to bring my kids. Like they are too young. We're going to wait a couple years. And we did, and they made it through, and it was great. And that's my
cool. I will keep all that in mind. Definitely.
For you, like your daughter, I would say is too young. I mean, she's gonna have that
right now, absolutely.
But she would absolutely have a meltdown at like 8 or 9 o'clock, and you're gonna be like, well, I guess we're going home. Yeah. And you calculate how much you spend on your ticket by the hour, and you're like, well, I guess that's a couple hundred out the window. Okay, come on.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. Well, last week, pretty much on Friday, another two
we had some
celebrities
taken.
The first one was Louie Anderson. Actually, he wasn't the first one. It's just the first one I want to talk about. Sure. Louie Anderson, the comedian, passed away. I remember him, but I don't remember him. I don't remember where I remember him.
I do. I remember where I remember him.
Okay.
Couple different things. His stand-up back in the 80s was something that we could watch because it was fairly clean.
Okay.
And so we would watch it, and it was one of those family things. And then he's in Coming to America, the Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall film. He's the white guy who works at McDowell's.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, see what I'm doing? I'm washing lettuce. And that's kind of how that was his comedy thing, was kind of just this kind of almost baby talk kind of thing.
Okay.
There was Cousin Clay is right there. Life with Louie was a animated cartoon that was on the late 80s.
Yes. I remember that now.
He voiced just about everybody.
Yeah.
So, and that was his thing. And then always stand up.
Right.
Now, recently he was in an FX show called Baskets. Now I haven't watched
he was the he played the mom, right?
Played the mom. I haven't watched a single episode of this show. But I kind of want to, because I just found out about it, and Zach Galifianakis I think is pretty funny.
I think he's hilarious.
So Louie Anderson cross-dressed as the mom, but in the show it's not like he's a cross-dressed. I mean, he is their mom.
Right.
So here's what I'm a little shocked by. Louie Anderson, now funny, yes, absolutely. Successful comedian, yes. It was back in, I want to say 2012, and I can say that because I'm looking at it right now. He got charged with being a pedophile.
Really?
Like young boys kind of thing, and so I'm looking. All you can see here is suspected.
But that's a slippery slope. If you're suspected, that's a slippery slope.
Was he or not? I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know either, and I hate to
I'm not, but the
Right.
fact, and the thing is, I mean, a little bit of cancel culture well before cancel culture really hit,
Yeah.
but I'm a little surprised because even like TMZ, when they reported this, they're like, nothing about this. Like, so was he exonerated? Was he, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if this isn't coming up at all in his stuff.
Okay. Well, thanks for bringing it up, Greg.
Yeah. Well, because I'm
No, I know it's
shocked.
part of his history, and that is
Well,
part of
again,
that. Yeah.
I'm shocked because in this cancel culture kind of environment that we live in now,
Yeah.
this has so far been glossed over by much of the media. Is
Right.
that this was part of his history? And you're like, oh,
Well, I guarantee you, if he would have been famous, I don't know if he would have been famous. Like if he would have been more famous, if he would have hit something that just all of a sudden started taking off,
right.
people would have dug this up and
So,
tried to drown him for sure.
but
Yeah.
the other one,
Yeah.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, whose real
Meatloaf.
name is what? Do you know? I don't know. I'm asking.
No, I can look it up. What
Okay.
Meatloaf's birth name was, but
This one's
doesn't
interesting.
matter.
This one's interesting because I wanted to get how you feel about this, because I don't think he's this great time rock and roll guy. I remember I Would Do Anything for Love, and it felt like it lasted 16 minutes.
It's a long song. Yes.
Yeah. But most of his songs were very long, right?
No, he not like his biggest ones were longer songs. Like his biggest hit, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, is a longer song. Birth name is Marvin Lee Addy.
Okay.
His birth name.
I remember him from the Fight Club, the guy with the boobs.
Yep. Bob.
Yes. I remember Bob. I remember Bob.
He actually was in Black Dog with Patrick Swayze.
That's right, with Patrick Swayze.
And I remember him probably the most from Rocky Horror Picture Show, where he's in there. Now, I mean, he was 74. Looks like it was COVID related.
Greg, in your musical opinion, is he one of the all-time great rock gods? I don't think he is.
I wouldn't put him up as a rock god. No.
What would you put him up as?
I put him almost, I mean, he's not parody,
right,
but he's almost in the same category-ish as like Weird Al. Now,
okay.
So, and you're talking to a guy who's seen Weird Al live.
Right.
And it is still one of the best concerts I have ever been to, because he puts on a hell of a show. And we were trying to keep count. We lost count at like 26 different musical instruments that Weird Al played on stage.
Wow.
And I think Meatloaf is the same way. I think he had a huge range for a voice. He could belt like nobody's business. Could play a ton of musical instruments, and was decent enough that he would sell out stadium shows at one point. And like, is he?
But not a rock god.
I don't
like. He's not up there with the Beatles. He's not up there with Led Zeppelin. He's not up there with.
No, I wouldn't put him there.
I wouldn't either, because I can't think of when would you put on his music? You wouldn't put it on to party. You wouldn't put it on to get high. You wouldn't put it on to drink. You wouldn't put it on.
But okay, so
what would you put it on?
But you got to remember, like when you're thinking about in 95, 96, when Bat Out of Hell 2 came out, which was where the I Would Do Anything for Love came out. That was like his comeback tour. That was his resurgence. Like, he wasn't big when we were in high school. That wasn't like him just making it.
But he was really big in college either.
No, he was big in like the 70s, bro. I mean, that was his.
You're saying his comeback, right? You're saying his comeback. Right. Now, I only remember that one song, but my question, I guess, is when you play, like
when do you play? When is Meatloaf music appropriate?
Is Cousin Clay on?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. If Cousin Clay's
on, yeah, he is. I'm sorry, I'm not even checking at this.
Okay.
We've got some people that are
about Meatloaf.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Did Cousin Clay party with Meatloaf playing in the back, like in the 70s?
I don't know, Clay. You can answer that.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I'm
Clay
asking.
says he told stories on stage with his songs, and that was he was almost like a troubadour, and that
Okay.
his songs weren't just songs.
Okay.
He was telling a story with them.
I see.
And that's where he kind of, I mean, he kind of crossed over that almost folk singer to rock star kind of thing. I mean, because when you listen to Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, it's the story of this young couple, high school couple, getting it on in the backseat of a car.
Weren't all of his songs about getting laid?
Not all of them.
I mean, get in line. I mean, James
again,
Brown did that. Like everybody did that.
Yeah. How many songs out there are big? But Clay says his friend Rick plays his music when we hang out from time to time, and that's what it was. It was like very much background music.
Okay.
I heard guys that like would play D&D back in the 70s, and they'd have
listen to it.
Meatloaf was on in the background.
Playing. Okay.
He's enough of a rocker that when Jack Black from Tenacious D, who is an unabashed rock fan,
right,
and also has Tenacious D, which is like the rock tribute band,
right.
When they did the Pick of Destiny film, he asked Meatloaf to play his father. Okay. Jack Black said, "What can, we're making this movie. Can you play my dad in this movie?" And Meatloaf's like, "Absolutely."
Okay.
And Rocky Horror Picture Show, which has this gigantic cult following,
right?
Part of the fame of that film is Meatloaf in his song. I mean,
okay. So, can you name 4 Meatloaf songs off the top of your head?
4?
I don't think you can. I guess that's my point. I'm not saying the guy wasn't good. He's way better than I ever will be at music. People were making a big deal out of it, and I felt like, okay, this isn't really like when I think of like legends.
Okay,
Meatloaf does not come up.
So the Paradise by the Dashboard Lights.
Right. I'll do anything for love.
I'll do anything for love.
No Googling.
But I'm not, but I won't do that. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Okay.
Is one of his songs.
You keep looking over at your computer screen. Are you cheating?
No, I'm looking at his face though, because I'm trying to remember the music videos that have his face on. Well, there's the song Bad Out of Hell. I mean, that's like, okay. That was the name. How many do I have to name?
Just 4.
4? I'm on 4.
Yeah. No, you already got 4.
There yet another one. Like it was like a song about ass, but he didn't say ass.
Okay. That's I knew if I talked to you, because you're the
it was like Hot Patootie or something like that.
Okay.
I remember that. I'm like, really? Did he sing a song about patootie? Okay. But yeah, I mean, and the people that are his fans, and we know a guy who's a big Meatloaf fan.
Okay.
Eric is a big.
I knew
fan.
It. I had a feeling. I don't know why. I just had a feeling he was a huge.
Because when we were in class together in college, he would bring up Meatloaf. I mean, he would talk about Meatloaf. He would consider Meatloaf a rock god for sure.
Really?
Yeah, but like full on.
Whatever.
He's Eric. Like, yeah, he is a rock star. Absolutely.
Whatever, Eric. No, he's not. I don't think he is. Like, I don't consider Weird Al Yankovic a rock star. I consider him an entertainer.
He's an entertainer. Yeah, absolutely. He's an entertainer, a hell of a musician.
Right.
He's actually one of those people that I think has written songs for other people that nobody knows about.
Right. Okay. All right. Greg, it's time for that social media roundup.
Yeah. What am I? Okay, I got to try to bring this up here. Let me get rid of Meatloaf's face. So this is something I came across, and a little bit of a lesson to people out there. And it's not just, it'd be easy to say a lesson for the youngins.
Okay.
And it's kind of not. It's a lesson for grown ass people.
How old are what's the age bracket when you say youngins?
Like my kids' age.
Kids or a kid?
My kids, like my children, their age, but this is for like the boomers and maybe a little bit the Gen Xers. Let me bring this up. Come on. Hopefully this will play. I'm getting a little
Who's
bit.
the girl that was on? I think she's your cousin or she's your aunt. That's a Buffalo Bills fan.
Carla.
Carla.
Yep, cousin Carla.
I sympathize with you. I was pulling for Buffalo this whole season.
Yeah.
So I totally sympathize with you. Go ahead.
All right, so here we go. This comes to us from Connecticut, and we're just going to let you watch this at first.
Oh, okay.
We're going to hopefully it'll play. Oh, all right, hold on.
Yeah, share the screen.
Is the screen not shared?
It is
Oh,
not
no, it's
shared.
not. Okay, well, good, because I'm kind of...
This might get choppy, folks. Just bear with us.
I'm rolling a 1 on my computer skills. And for you D&D players out there, you know what that means. All right, here we go.
All right, we got that.
Got that. This is at a smoothie shop in Connecticut. And
Okay.
this guy, there's a story behind it, but they got his order wrong. And he left the store, came back. This girl here is 16. In fact,
16?
Everybody in this shop is high school age.
Okay. Can't hear it.
Oh, man. Why can't we hear it?
Because the over there at the mic,
Yep,
it's
I see it.
So, you don't know who made it? There's 4 of us here, so we obviously don't know.
Fucking stupid, fucking ignorant high school kids.
Okay, bye.
I want to speak to the fucking
Bye.
manager.
Okay, you can call corporate whenever you want. Goodbye.
John, stop. You're on camera.
Fuck
You're on
outta
camera.
here,
You're on
you
camera.
fucking bitch.
No, I don't care.
The manager's trying to get this girl to back
Right
off.
now.
But
What? Really?
Whoa.
I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police.
Fuck you. I want the fucking telephone
Get the
number
fuck
right now.
out.
Gianna,
I want the telephone number. Shut the fuck
You
up.
shut up. Get
Whoa.
out. You call
Yeah.
corporate whenever you
this
want.
is a grown man.
You're a fucking idiot.
Okay, good for you. Bye.
I want the
Bye.
fucking number.
Bye.
Shut up.
You shut up. You're not gonna tell me to shut up. The fuck? Who are you? Who are you?
Fucking immigrant loser.
What? Fuck you.
There we go. Brings out the immigrant loser.
So he wanted to
getting
hurt someone.
racist.
He
did.
wanted to hurt someone.
Yep. he
So
most
why was
certainly did.
we missed
So-
we missed why he was upset?
Okay, so he was upset, and I don't think the video that we have covers why he was upset, but we know the story. I can bring it up.
Sure.
I gotta bring it up on another device here. So the issue is this guy got the wrong smoothie.
Got the wrong smoothie.
Well, he ordered at I think the drive-through
okay.
and said, I need one without peanuts because his son is allergic to peanuts. And so, or I need one without peanut butter.
Okay.
And they said, okay. So they don't put peanut butter in his smoothie. And his son still has like an allergic reaction.
Okay.
And it's because, these high school girls, they gave the guy exactly what he ordered, no peanut butter, but some ingredients where they say you're still manufactured within a facility that has like peanut dust
Peanuts there. Okay.
in the area.
I see.
And so his son still is one of those like very severely allergic, had a reaction, sent to the hospital. His son is fine, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
But
So he
comes
came back wanting a new smoothie?
No, he came back to who made, and I'm sorry we're getting bad language here, but who made my fucking smoothie, and wanted to know so that he could more or less tear apart the girl that made his smoothie.
Wow.
And so
That seems like he's projecting his anger because of his F up.
oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if it's his F up. It is truly
think it
a
is.
tragic situation where it's like what he ordered, the girls gave him exactly what he ordered. They didn't screw up. They didn't, but he's acting like they did.
Right.
So,
Well, what he's doing is what I think the problem is that we're doing a lot now is we're looking for someone else to blame because it can't possibly be our fault.
yep.
Like that dad should know. I'm sure it does say on these menus that, hey, this stuff is
Yeah.
manufactured in a place where there are nuts. I've seen that 100 times in places.
So here's the lesson. Here's the lesson I want to try to get to. And this is why I said this really goes out to the boomers in the audience. If you're videoed, it's out there, man. Like this guy, his freak out and try like it escalated like when he threw
yes,
the
course.
smoothie, hit the girl, starts, fuck you, shut the
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
of
this
course.
girl in the blue, kind of kudos to her for standing up to this jackass. And then he pulls out a racial slur. That's already.
Yeah.
And then if you play through the whole video, which you can find all over the internet right now,
Okay.
he tries to break into the back area, the employees only.
Really?
He's trying to push his way in as these girls are, like I said, 19, 18, 19, 16
Jesus.
up to 19-year-old girls are calling the police to get some help. And then he takes off before the police show up. So his name is James Inaziano. He is now the former Merrill Lynch wealth manager who threw drinks at the Robex employees during a racist attack in Fairfield, Connecticut. He was arrested and charged with second-degree intimidation based on bigotry and bias, second-degree breach of the peace, and first-degree criminal trespass after the Saturday, January 22nd incident. Fairfield police say in a statement, video of the incident was recorded by the employee and posted online, and it went viral. Iziano is 48, told police he was upset because his son was having an allergic reaction, and he went back to the store as a result. During the investigation, employees reported that Iziano never told them about the peanut allergy, but only had requested that there be no peanut butter in his drink. According to the police, officers were called to Iziano's home at about 1:30 p.m. for a juvenile who had an allergic reaction and had to be taken to a local hospital. And Iziano has not commented on the incident since it went viral. A spokesman for Merrill Lynch says Merrill Lynch and Bank of America said in a statement, "Our company does not tolerate this kind of behavior. We immediately investigated and have taken action. The individual is no longer employed in our firm." So here's this guy, 48, probably looking down the barrel of retirement if he is a wealth management type person. Maybe he had that goal of like, I'm going to be retired before I'm 55. And because you're outrage, you fucked up.
Well,
like that
again.
and
yeah, it's so much his fault. Even before the minute you were getting a smoothie, if you knew that your son has this condition, it's probably a good idea to say, hey, what I'm saying is this can't be the first time this dad ever ordered anything for this kid that has an allergic reaction. So he had to know, look, there's some trouble things. Like my aunt used to be allergic to whey products.
Okay. Yeah.
So anytime we went to any type of restaurant, she'd know like, okay, like I can't have this. I can't have this. I can't have this. Anything that she thought might have it, she still didn't do it.
Now, what's interesting is the police, when they approached these girls, they said, hey, look, this is going to become an investigation. Please take down your video. And they did. They complied, but it had gone viral at that point. So it is out there. So, the idea of, Carla brings up another great point. There was a nurse she down in Texas threw hot soup on a woman down in Temple, Texas. I remember that was about a month ago, 2 months ago. And it's these people that I didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah.
Or it is somehow not exactly what I wanted. And they're taking it out on these workers. And like the woman who got the hot soup, she had burns. Like she had some like first and second degree burns. And they're charged. They're charged with assault. They're charged with disturbing and battery, all these things.
Yeah.
They're losing their jobs because they're mad. And they're not thinking, I'm on camera right now. And all of this is submissible. This is it's not just like this guy's going to get fined at probably a couple grand. All of his charges right now are misdemeanors.
Probably in the situations where he's not allowed to come to certain places anymore.
Well, not even that, but could you imagine everything's digital, dude. You're going to apply for another, like you're out of a job.
Yes.
As a financial advisor, if you're not starting your own firm, you're going to go to try to get a job in another firm. They're going to Google you and this is going to show up.
Good luck working at a bank.
I can't. Or not even anywhere. Any job you apply for,
it's going to be
they're
tough.
going to be like, So I don't know. And this is the message out there then to people of an older generation of like, you guys can't have these freakouts. And there's a whole Reddit channel, and if you don't know what Reddit is, it's where you get anything that's happening on the internet can end up on Reddit. I visit Reddit about, I don't know, once a day, maybe. And I will see stories on there that I see on the evening news will pick up that story 2 to 3 days later.
Mhm.
So this is why when you're like, Greg's so informed, I'm like, no, I'm just ahead of the curve. I mean, I know where to look. So you're going to see this story. This story will be on the news. If not tomorrow, then I'd say Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
And like, it's the digital world, man. You can't run from this. And now that it's out there, it's forever. Like my kids know if it's on the internet and it's been digitized, someone's going to have that forever. Like kids grow up knowing that now. It's an older generation that did not grow up with the internet. This guy's 48. And I can tell you, he did not have the internet as a kid.
Right.
That they forget you're on camera 24/7.
Yeah.
And how you react to things is going to be how the world sees you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
On that, Greg, why don't you sign us out?
Yeah. So, I mean, that really does take the cake for the don't be a douche, which is our third rule.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, while you're busy not being a douche, which is the third and foremost, number one is know your sources, know where you're getting them from. The one thing I love about Reddit is a lot of stuff is sourced, like it's credited. Where are you getting this from? International news is great to pick up on there. You can learn about stuff going on in the world that isn't being covered by local news.
Right.
So that's great. Know your sources. Know your sources. Number one. Number two, know your audience, know who you're talking to, and be able to speak their language, so to say. And then 3 is, like I said, don't be a douche. So
yeah,
there you go.
So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a great week. We'll see you later.
Good night. Go Bucks.
Bye-bye. Go who?
Bucks.
Go Bulls. See ya.